Oh, yeah, this is live, so I'll just get the questions on that on the screen. Right, yes, I think pretty much good to go. Let's see if a few folk join first. Right, that's it on social media, so we're good to go. Close that down. All right, welcome along to this second edition of, I guess, what we're going to call Colin Rangers TV, live on YouTube. Last week we had myself and Colin Boyd and Danny Watt about today, but Chris, Strain manager. Chris, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Ben. Good.
How's your lockdown going?
I've had a DIY today. In fact, it's been DIY since the day we stopped. So my missus is using it as a thing to get me in the house and get me doing the jobs that I've planned for 6 or 7 years.
Excellent. Keeping active then. So obviously the big news today, Chris, is that you've signed a 3-year deal with the club. Just give us a few words about why you've signed back up and what's the plans for yourself.
Yeah, it's actually 7 years, believe it or not, since I took over now. So it's been a really quick 7 years. I think it's 7, more or less sure. I think I was 33 when I took over as a player and a manager. So now just turned 40. It's been 7 years. So a lot of the work that we started in the early days was to get us to where we were last season before, and it's a continuation of that. It's about improving, and we always had a plan, or I always had a plan between Colin Stewart and myself when we took over, that Colin could be a football club that basically went into the professional ranks, and with the Lowland League set up and the West of Scotland League set up going forward now, I think the club can see that is a realistic ambition. And for me, it's about the next 3 years now is getting a plan in place, getting the kids coming through, because that's something that we planned for as well. They're starting to get to an age now where we hope they develop and come into the first team. That's been an ongoing plan and a bit of a I don't know how you'd say a labour of love for me, but I've been coaching them since I was for about 10 years now, and there's kids that are coming through before the group that I've got and after the group that I've got. So that stands us in good stead. So the reality for me is things won't happen overnight when we go into the West of Scotland League. We are ambitious, we want to go forward, but there will be a timescale where things on and off the park align to allow us to get to where we want to get to, and it's important that we don't just look to try and go boom and bust right away with this, because the club's done that before and it's ended up back the way. Steady growth is what we want, and as I say, 3 years allows me some time to try and build the next phase of Kilwinning Rangers.
Obviously, we're going to talk about the league structure and different things this evening, but I guess the first thing we probably want to talk about is what do you think should happen to the season that's still like kind of ongoing, if you like?
Do you know what, Ben? I really it's probably crass to talk about football at this moment in time, because there's so much going on for people. There's so many things other than football to concern ourselves with. But the reality of the situation is, if the league could start up soon, then you would play it to a finish. But I don't think it is going to be able to do that. The way things are looking at this moment in time, it's going to be an extended break. So it will probably just tie in with the fact that the leagues are going to be reconstructed, and we call it a day at that. And disappointing for us, but I'm realistic enough to think that we would have been caught anyway. But who knows what would have happened in that regard. So we just accept whatever comes our way, and we just move on next year, and it's another start, another fresh start, another reconstruction, and we'll go for there.
Just a quick mention to everyone on the YouTube and the Facebook page and things. If you've got any questions for Chris, let us know in the comments on Facebook, on Twitter, or on the actual YouTube channel itself. I'm watching the questions come in. If you've got a specific thing you want to ask Chris himself, he's here. I'm sure he'll be able to answer your questions best he can. So we mentioned there the West of Scotland League. That's something that looks like it's going to come into place for ourselves whenever football does resume. I've seen a few discussions about kind of league structure and things like that. What's your thoughts on how the league should be set up for the new West of Scotland League?
Okay, again, it's just opinions. It really doesn't matter. It's the powers that be that will decide. But my own personal opinion is you'd like the structure as close to what it is at this present moment in time. I don't know how you would sort out relegation and whatnot. We've got guys there that have been a long time. Rob Roy have been in, the bottom of the league there. They just fancied their chances and maybe getting out. It might look like a great escape for them, but they had games to play. And then you've got, on the other hand, Darvel coming up, and Darvel would have thought they would have done enough to get up. So there's a lot of hypotheticals with it. So who would you include in the top division? Who would you not include? I think obviously with the coronavirus issue that it might just coincide with having a reconstruction and the conferences that allows them to kind of put all those pertinent issues to bed. But for me, I would have liked it to have been the same. There's a real competition in the top flight, and we're in amongst that. There's some really, really good teams, well-supported teams, and we worked ever so hard to get into that division, and we'd like to remain in that division as part of that competition. But whatever's decided, we'll just accept and move on from there.
So I guess as we're in a kind of a lull the moment with no football, what are you kind of doing to plan for next season as a manager? What kind of things are you thinking about? Is there anything you're kind of working on in terms of players, signing targets, things like that?
Signing targets is a really difficult one. I'll take that one first. Because we don't know what's happening with the season, it's very difficult to go and, you know what, you look at games, you watch players, you've got your targets in mind, you want to maybe hone in on them, you want to do a wee bit more homework on them. Can't do that just now. So people are tied up with clubs. You usually find through the grapevine players talk to players and different things and say somebody fancies a move or such like. But because people are more concerned with their private lives and with their loved ones and everything else, I think it's just taking a bit of a back burner at the moment. What I'm trying to concentrate on doing is get the group signed up for next season. If we can get everybody signed up for next season, that will stand us in good stead. And if and when we resume, or if and when the jungle drums beat, then we'll look to bring in players where we can. There's a bit of a moral dilemma in going and looking for players when they are probably still contracted with clubs, or clubs are talking to them and negotiating. I've been long enough in the game to know that managers will talk to our players. That's part and parcel, but there's just that wee bit just now that you think, you know what, it doesn't sit right with me just going and talking to other teams' players and whatnot, and that happens across the board. We look at players and you try and find a gem or something like that, but there's no avenues to go and look at players. There's no avenues to have discussions about the games and where you see happening. So it'd be foolish not to do anything. So you just keep your feelers out there for the guys that may be interested in the move or such like. But the good thing that I've got is we've got a really good young squad, 17, 18 players. And to be honest, I'd really like to sign everybody again and add to it. But we don't need to add, as I say, 8 or 9 players like we did last year. We just probably need to add 3 or 4, and more specifically, we need to add to the positions as opposed to the actual key personnel, because we've got good personnel for all areas. We just could be doing beefing it up in certain positions.
So I take it though you're still chatting to our own players about kind of contracts and things like that. That's kind of ongoing just now.
I've talked to 7 or 8 of the players that have agreed verbally to sign again next year. Spoke to a couple again today, and I'll hopefully get to the rest of the players by the end of the week. But most of the guys, in fact, none of the guys have said to us at this point in time that they don't want to sign for next year. Everybody wants to sign. The difficulty you've got, again, this is something that most clubs will have, unless you're a cash-rich club. I can't think of many cash-rich clubs that are great at football. You're probably looking at Auchinleck, who have had a couple of good runs in the Senior Scottish Cup that have maybe given them a bit of money in the bank. But everybody really loves hand to, and in that respect, sponsorship is going to be hit. I mean, small businesses, if you look at the economy and the financial side of things, small businesses are really under strain at this moment in time. And people might not look to renew sponsorship, which might hit our income streams for next season. So I'm trying to speak to the players about that. Sometimes the players might think at this moment in time, we've had a good season, next season I'm due an extra £5 or a tenner per week. And in all essence, they probably are due that because they've done well. And we're not a team who pays our players particularly high wages. But in the grand scheme of things, we can't go to them and say, you know, I'll give you an extra 20 quid on top of what you've got last year or whatever else. We're really trying to ask them to be mindful of the current economic situation and say, look, we are a club who will treat you well if and when the time comes. We'll try and support you as best we can. But at this moment in time, we've been good to you in the past. We've got good structure, we've got good infrastructure, we've got good facilities. Bear with us in terms of financial commitment to you. And again, I've played the game a long time at this level. A lot of people do okay out the game, but there's other people there who play for the love of the game. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get rich playing with Kilwinning Rangers. So our boys need to understand that there isn't a bucket load of cash there for them. And if they bear with us just now, they'll get rewarded if and when we can further down the line.
I think it's really, you've got to think of it in a way. There's done so well in this season. The boys are already in the team. I kind of thought of maybe like trying to stick together and kind of showing what they've done this year. They can build on that to next season. Is that something you're kind of pitching to them?
And the boys all loved each other's company. They get on really well. There's a good group of them that socialise together, and we're just starting the journey. Although you're saying we had a good season last season, we didn't win anything, and ultimately when you start off the season, your ambition is to go and win any competition that you enter into. If it wasn't that, you'd be questioning the mentality. But ultimately, we'd probably have fallen short in the league. We don't know that, but we probably would have. And the Cups, disappointingly, we went out the Scottish Cup early doors up in Aberdeen, and the League Cup we played at the start of the season. I can't actually even remember it. The outcome of the league, terrible. It's actually terrible. I think we lost to Largs. Yeah, Gary gets sent off up at Largs and we lost to Largs. So far in that one. And then we were due to play Auchinleck in the second round of the West of Scotland Cup. So in terms of our ambitions when we set out, it was a new team. Everybody knew that it was a new team, and it was very much we were anxious to see how we bonded. We did really well to start with. Had a wee bad spell in the middle, and as I say, we had a disappointing cup result. And to be honest, we were tailing off there towards the end. A couple of draws in the last couple of games wasn't exactly what we were looking for. So looking at it as a football manager, I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, we've got a good nucleus. We've shown that we've got ability. We've shown that we can play. We've shown that we've got a good group of boys. It's about adding to that. It's about becoming better. It's about being fitter, stronger, and having the squad. The squad was the big thing that really hampered us. If you look at all the games where we got points, we either had a suspension or an injury, and we just couldn't cope with that. So it's about trying to get the strength in numbers and the quality in that that allows us to progress. So that's what our aim is over the close season, and that's what the boys need to buy into, is that we are going to get better, we're going to be stronger next year, and we're going to look to improve year on year.
Okay, looking towards then, more like from an ambition point of view, we're moving into the West of Scotland League this year. What would you say your ambitions as a manager for when we do move into the senior ranks?
It's not about the senior ranks just now. That is a long-term ambition of the club. Whatever league we're in, whatever structure it's in, our ambition is to win. It's as simple as that. I look at a lot of, especially in this downtime, I'm watching a lot of the things on Amazon and Netflix, and you see the passion in the top teams. You look at the Man City documentary, their players are multi-millionaires in there, and their work rate, their ethic is absolutely brilliant. So it's about driving that into the boys and making sure that it's not just, you can argue that it's part-time, but we're as professional as we possibly can be, we're as fit as we possibly can be, and usually if you're fit, professional and well-disciplined, you'll do well, and our boys have got bags of ability, so I have no concerns about the squad, as I say, or the boys that are actually there at the moment, but we want to add to that, we want to get better, and we want to progress. Now, progression, I don't know what that looks like next year. It's always to win for me. It's always to win. It's just been born in me. You always want to win. Unfortunately for me, sometimes it's the part where you're not winning that can lead to frustration, and always has been a bugbear of mine personally that if you're not doing as well as you can, or you're not winning, then things can get the better of you. But we need to learn as a group that through discipline, through working really hard, that we'll get rewards, and regardless of, as I say, the structure, regardless of what competitions we're entered into next year, we'll be looking to win whatever we enter into.
Excellent. So we've got a few questions on the YouTube channel, and Chris has just dropped out.
I'm still here, but give me a second.
No worries. So yeah, just to reiterate, for those who are watching, if you've got a question for Chris, let us know in the comments, both on Facebook or on YouTube. We can also take them by Twitter as well. So if your best means of communication is by Twitter, just tweet us and we'll read out the question to Chris. We have got a few questions on the YouTube, Chris, so we'll just go to them just now, just from the fans. The first one is from, it's a Jim Bums. Is that on YouTube? That's someone's YouTube channel name. And they're asking, what club would you love to manage realistically? So I think, obviously, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whoever that is a dream of anyone's. But from you, what would be your ambition, or perhaps?
Ambition as a coach, a manager, I'm quite happy where I am, hence the reason I signed a 3-year deal. I don't have ambition to move out with anywhere at the current structure, but as a football manager, you want to test yourself, you want to be as good as you can be. Full-time football would be an ambition. I would love to try and get into that at some stage. But 40 years of age, I've got good experience behind me as a manager just now. Been through some real upheaval at the football club, so I've got experience a lot of things that managers maybe wouldn't have, and as I say, I'm pretty young for a football manager, but my ambitions at this moment in time totally lie with Colin and Rangers, and obviously trying to make us a better football club.
Excellent. The next question is actually something I was going to ask about, and it's regarding the youth kind of setup. Colin Brown, he's asking, Will we use youth players more in the next season? We've had a few guys come off the bench in the last season, and obviously the current climate with finances and we're unsure about money. Is the youth going to be something that you're really going to be considering, like from in the pathway?
I have got about, having looked at the whole youth setup and looked at the structure, there's probably about 8 or 9 boys that are on their radar, and they range from the under-15s team, under-16s, under-17. At this moment in time, there's a couple within the under-19s. For me, they need to improve both physically and mentally. So they'll be training with us. In the past, it would have been an easier jump from, per se, boys' club football to the district leagues and such like, playing against adults. But it's a massive, massive jump to jump from youth football into top level, as it was junior football, but semi-professional football. And from my point of view, these boys have got to be physically ready, they've got to be mentally ready. There's absolute talent in there, there's no doubt about it. If you're asking because of the reconstruction, if we're playing against the likes of lesser teams, would it be able to bleed some of the boys? Yeah, it is something that we can look to. But again, talk of the under-20 setting up as a reserve team, I can play the likes of senior players with those kids in a development team to help them. And they'll come up against adults playing in that, almost like reserve football. I can remember when I played with Kilmarnock, I played against Celtic, I was playing against Alan Stubbs at 17 years of age. Played against Rangers, you were playing against Gordon Petric and stuff like that. It was, these were top players, and that education in itself was great for me. But kids playing against themselves, you don't know, they're not playing against adults, they're not playing against strength, they're not playing against people with power, and they need to learn to use their bodies and different things. So the short answer to that is I do want to use the youth boys, but they've got to be ready. And we've had some games in the past just now. We've had games against Dalry, game against Ashfield, where we've gone up with some of the guys in our team and played probably a full youth team in amongst them, and gave them experience it. One of the boys that's shown out, we'd never really kept our eye on, was the under-17 goalkeeper. He played the game against Dalry, played the full game. He was absolutely excellent. Nervous to begin with, as you would imagine, but played excellently. And that the feedback from the under-17s coaches was that it gave him a real shot of confidence and kicked him on. So our relationship with the youth team is something that we will build upon next year. Colin's very aware. His brother Gary runs the under-15s team. Gary's got a couple of boys in there. The boy Campbell McLean sticks out. Excellent attitude, work rate, desire. You've got the boy Jack McMahon, who's got absolute talent and abundance. But these boys need to develop, and they need to be pushed as well if they're going to be ready to play in our team. So we'll come up with a plan for these guys, but we're very, very much aware of the talent that lies within the youth teams, and we've got a pathway for them through the first team.
If there is any of the players watching in the youth pathway, what kind of advice would you give to those boys just now at this stage, perhaps in the season, and things like preparing for perhaps getting a chance?
It's not so much about getting a chance, it's about showing the right attitude. Attitude could be broad brush, but there's things that you see in boys, their desire, their hunger, their appreciation for their teammates. A lot of kids can be selfish, and again, it's down to probably immaturity. There's some boys in my team that have got that level of immaturity as well, and we're still trying to work on that with them. There's a lot of guys in my team in the age bracket between 18 to 22, 23. Some of them still have their immature moments that you have to try and stamp out. But if you've got hunger for football and a desire, you're there on time, you're at training. We had a couple of boys that broke into the team, and they haven't really kicked on, they haven't really trained as well as they should within their own teams, and showing that level of commitment. That's what you're looking for. It's the hunger, the desire. Does that stand? And I can see it in a lot of the under-16s. I can see it in a lot of the under-17s. It's no coincidence that these teams have done well in the Scottish Cups. But it's about being a real good teammate, and then when you get your opportunity, it's about working hard. Things that they should be looking at now when they get to that upper ages: what are you doing away from football? What are you doing beyond the 2 nights a week training that you get? Have you got a real hunger and desire to go and do that, to go and work away from supervision or organised stuff. It's doing it yourself. Are you getting out your runs? Are you getting yourself as fit as you possibly can be? Are you disciplined? Are you staying away from alcohol and other demons that are out there? Are you making sure you live your life properly? And ultimately, it's about being a good human being as well. That's something that we want. We want good boys that are willing to come in and work hard and join up with a good group of boys.
Next question comes from it's Jim Bums again. He's asking, what's it like to work with a forward-thinking community like ourselves? That's a bit of a loaded question, perhaps.
The committee are forward-thinking in a lot of areas. Like if you look at how they're trying to develop the pitch, the park itself, they've always been good in terms of listening to my ideas, because I am very much somebody who thinks that if you're standing still, you're going backwards. We need to be progressing all the time. We need to be an upward trajectory in the football club, and I think we've got that in the background as well. We can be more focused at times, but everybody has got other things in their life. Football ultimately is secondary to it, but it's about how far up the priority we can push this. And I'm sure the wives and girlfriends and everybody else of the guys on the committee will stand dead that they often get, or back me up, that they often get put in the back burner. As I'm finding out just now, the list of jobs is endless. So the committee are great. And as long as we continue to go forward together and try and progress, then we'll be fine.
All right, so no more questions at the moment, but as you say, folks, just drop us a comment, let us know your questions. But I'll ask one, Chris, to yourself. What would you say, you've been here now for about 7 years, you said, what would you say your best moment would have been so far in that time?
The best moment, it was kind of bittersweet, would have been the one where we got into we won the playoff to get into the Super League. We had got to the semi-final of the Scottish Cup and we lost to win it. We got to the semi-final with that, and a couple of results after that, we lost a game down at Maybole, and we lost a game at home to Rutherglen, I think it was, and it was very much in the balance of whether we won the game that we needed to win to get into the playoff, and we won the playoff, and it was euphoric. The atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. There's been a couple of real good games. When we took over at first, as I said, the club was in the doldrums a wee bit, and I get criticised before for saying that there was 50 people watching the bus in our first game in charge. There was, because I counted them. I was standing outside the park against Troon. We got beat 2-0 and I counted 50 people that were in attendance that day. And my ambition was to bring back the crowds. And when we played Linlithgow in the Scottish Cup, the season we got to the semi-final, we beat them 4-1 and the place was packed to the rafters. And it was a brilliant day. And that, to me, ticked a lot of boxes of what we came to the football club for. There was an interest, there was a buzz about the place. But now it's about progression. What can we actually become? And I think the best days for me are still in front of me, and that's a big thing. But there's been a couple of standout results, Ben. We went to Kelty and we won 2-1 up at Kelty, and it was just a fantastic performance. Real guts, determination, but there was a game plan behind it and the players all stuck to that. And as a football manager, when you're against the odds, I remember going to the game and I met Alan McCluckie Senior there. Mr. McCluckie likes to have a wee wager on the underdog every now and again. I bet on today, and I had a wee wry smile to myself because I really knew that if the boys carried out the plan that we had that day, we had a right good chance. Ricky scored a header early doors, which gave us the platform to go and play, and the rest of the boys were absolutely brilliant. So as a coach, that was a real big one for me. Linlithgow, as I said, was just sensational because of the performance we put in. I remember saying to Ian Cashmore, if we go about this the way I'm asking you to go about it, we'll be 3-0 up at half time. And he was kind of flabbergasted by that. And I said, I'm telling you, if we go out here and get in about them and we hunt them, we'll be 3-0 up the half time. And it's just one of the things that you say, and it actually happened. And that performance was brilliant. And then a personal one was when we went to Camelon. We had a big crowd through at Camelon, and I had played for Coinnan at Camelon, and it was the last ever game that my mum seen me play for Coinnan before she passed away. and we won up at Camelon that day with winning Rangers 4-3. And I scored a goal. Had a really good game. I wasn't going to say anything else, obviously, but a really good we went there in the replay, the quarter-finals, the Scottish again, just so happened it was the same stage. We won 4-1, played brilliantly, but there was a wee bit of, it was kind of almost spiritual for me that day. Everybody was there and it was quite emotional, so I just enjoyed that day. If that was a kind of the last game that I could have played, there was a wee bit the last game that I managed, I would have been perfectly happy with that, because it was almost surreal how well we played in the environment. And I could just remember it was as if my mum was still there. So there's a lot of good times. There's been some real dark times as well in that period. So it's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs as well.
So looking back to probably more like last season, what would you say then that your highest point of last season? I think for me personally, looking back to some of the games, that game at Rutherglen was unbelievable to watch. I'm sure you'll agree with that.
It was a real highlight. The early doors in the season, the way that bonded the team was clear for all to see, because of the manner in which we came back for the game. 4-1 down to win 5-4 was unbelievable. But we played well within the game and we created chances. It just we were giving away goals, get caught in the break, and then we ended up winning that game. But it was a highlight for sure. I thought in the opening day of the season we played really well at Clydebank, again within a shape, within a discipline, worked really hard and got a good point, and obviously beat Meadow both home and away. It's a big thing for the people of Coinnan, and it was important to win those games because we let ourselves down in the derbies last year, so they were a highlight. Certainly, as I say, a low light was the Scottish Cup exit. Just I knew going up there that we had let a 2-goal lead slip in the home game, and then to go to a replay, we went to a big open space pitch, and the atmosphere was null and void, and we just did not play well at all that day. In fact, a few of the boys were mentioning it last week, how poor it was, but it's certainly probably my darkest moment as the Buffs manager over the last wee while.
Yeah, I think going back to the Scottish Cup, obviously I've only been involved in the club since the start of the season. I mean, you speak pretty much after the game, and that was the first time for me that I could really sense a bit like almost like anger from you. You've been very upbeat in the conversation we'd had, and there was definitely a different feel in that interview. I was almost at the point not wanting to interview you because I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but it was definitely one that we want to forget, I'm sure.
Listen, I've had my moments. You have your rants and raves and different things. I've had a few of the boys who tell you them, but sorry, that's just a warning. I'm running out of battery. I better find a charger.
Get a charger.
Yeah. No, one of that day against Bridgetown, I was particularly disappointed because we let our discipline was terrible. A 2-goal lead, and I had warned them that it wasn't going to be an easy game. I watched their warm-up. They were right up for the game, and I told them at that point in time we need to make sure that we go out here with a professional attitude. I just didn't think we were professional at all that day, and that's the bugbear. If we'd have went out and played poorly and gave everything we got, then you can accept that. It's certainly I thought it was a poor performance. Sam gets sent off for kicking out at somebody as well, and just we let a 2-goal lead slip for there, and it was just poor all round, and I was very annoyed that day. Unlike the game up there, we just played poorly. We tried. We didn't play well, but we tried. But we went out the cup because of a lack of professionalism, and I think that was a big lesson for the boys. They took the lesson on board, and they upped the ante in the coming weeks, and got the ship going in the right direction again. But it shouldn't take a bad result like that to make you do that, and that's a mentality thing, and that's something that we're working on with the boys all the time.
All right, we've got a few more questions over on YouTube. Just to let everyone know, we're going to be kind of launching the new Buffs Foundation just around about kind of 7:45, 8:00. Jack Schofield, the treasurer, is going to be on. Me and him are going to have a chat about that as well. So I know there's a question there from the Boyd 79. He's asking what more can fans do to get behind the team. Certainly getting involved in the Buffs Foundations is definitely one of those things you can do. But I guess it's Chris supporting the boys, coming down to the games and watching the games and being positive on the side of the park.
Absolutely. it can't be underestimated the impact that a big crowd and a vociferous crowd have to help you when you're playing. Energy levels, whatever else. There's lots of things that they can help. The presence, the togetherness. There's a couple of guys that I've seen the boys out and they've enjoyed a drink with them or whatever else and a chat. At this level of football, you've got access to players, you've got access to like myself, a manager that you probably don't have within the senior ranks. So it's important. We want the guys to feel part of it. We want everybody to feel part of the community. But for me, to help us, things that you can do is get involved with maintenance, helping round about the park, helping the committee, helping with jobs that need done, forking the pitch. You might think that's, oh, I'm done there forking a pitch. What difference does that make to the club? But the playing surface is something that if we've got a good playing surface, we've got good technical players. If we can make sure that we've got a group of guys that are out there, maintaining the pitch and making it better for the guys to come and play, that's something that we always need more hands on board to help with. But support in general terms is great. Listen, we've all been there and we've gave a bit of stick out, me none more so than anybody else, and players can respond to stick, but ultimately it's about encouragement and helping each other out along the way.
Talking about giving out stick, did you think you were going to get sent off this season with the new kind of yellow cards, red cards that came into play?
No.
So I've got a question here from Alan Caldwell. Alan Caldwell's asking, why is Carlo Monti so good?
Why is Carlo so good? Carlo's a good player. Carlo's a technically a very, very good player. His technical ability sticks out like a sore thumb at times. But more so this year, what Carlo's done is Carlo's using a wee bit more experience now. He's 30 come July. He's found a place where he's wanted. He's found a place where he's comfortable. But he's shown good leadership qualities this year. Whereas before, Carlo's always been the one that's fitted in and about. Somebody will tell him what to do and he'll go and do stuff. This year he's using his experience, helping players round about him, and in turn that's helping him. So it's probably a wee bit more now about him using, as I say, that experience, that knowledge, that know-how, plus his technical ability, and making it easier for him round about the place. And that's what he's doing. He always trains hard, the wee man, but he works on things. His technical ability doesn't just happen. He works on his free kicks. He scored 5 or 6 this season, but he really works on them at training. And some of the boys give him stick sometimes because his timekeeping's not the best. He is coming for a far away, and they say I let him off with stuff that I don't let them away with, but that's not true at all. The wee man's been fine more than anybody else this season. He's spoken at times, so but he knows where he stands with me, and we've got a good relationship, and I like to think that I can bring the best out in him at times as well.
Okay, Alan Caldwell's also asking, why is there only one window in the home dugout? Or why is there only windows in the home dugout? Is there any particular reason for the windows?
No, the away dugout was built first, and then we thought it would be better to put a viewpoint in the side of that one, so the home dugout's got a window, and it actually means that I can sit down and look at it rather than standing at the side of the park ranting and raving like a loony.
Excellent. So Gavin Brown's asking about the contract situation. He's asking, are we looking to resign everybody whose contracts are expiring this summer? Probably Gavin's just only maybe joined the chat. As Chris has said earlier on in the conversation, he's been speaking to 7 or 8 players already, and they've got agreements in place. He's hoping to get the rest of the squad sorted out this week, and he'll be then hopefully going to get his business done sooner rather than later, I think was the answer. Unless you want anything to add to that, Chris.
No, that's it. Everybody that played with us last year will be offered a contract. It's up to the boys as to whether or not they take it or not. Excuse me. And from then on in, we'll look to add to the squad where we have got gaps.
So we're on Facebook now. Question from Ian Cashmore. He is asking, would we have won the Scottish Cup if Ben had scored the penalty in the semis?
That is harsh for Cashy. Ben's his best mate. Do you know what? We might have, but nobody will ever know. So we have to score them to win. So at the end of the day, Ben had a great season that season as well. We always like to give him a wee bit of stick for it because it's a hard one for the wee man to take because it means so much to him. But ultimately, Beith beat us over the two legs and deserved to beat us. So that's that.
So the other one was, again, I think possibly someone who's come in a wee bit later to the Q&A. Scalper's asking who are the youth players to look out for over the next few seasons. So just want to reiterate the names you've already said.
There's probably too many to mention, and I'll feel bad if I leave somebody out. But we've certainly got a lot. The under-16s that I take particularly, I think there's 4 or 5 in that team that could ultimately come through. But it's dependent. It's dependent on them remaining hungry. It's dependent on them physically developing, mentally developing. There's so many caveats to whether kids come through or not. But what I will say is there are, I would say, at least 10 or 11 within the confines of the sports club that I think have got an opportunity to come and play at our level currently and hopefully go beyond that.
Okay, the next question comes from Kieran McLeod. He has said, Chris, I have a question. What you've done for our junior club is phenomenal, but truthfully, in your eyes, can you build a squad that is realistically good enough to win the league in your time here at Quint Rangers?
Absolutely. Aye, we're not a million miles away from it just now. Money obviously talks. If you look at where we were last season, we went up to Auchinleck, and it was 1 each at a period in the game, and we had 2 fit players on the bench at that time. They had 5 players on the bench and 3 no strips. We'd probably get into any other team, and that just shows you they've got the financial whereabouts to be able to keep those guys at the sidelines, but also people that are in that team that are there and willing to stand and watch because they play in other games where they're winning things. And for us, if we win a couple of things and we become habitual winners, like, again, I'm citing them as an example, that's where they are at this moment in time. But people are more willing to sit because of the success that they get. So if I've got somebody who's not playing in my team, like it happened last year, the lad Stephen Tan's a fantastic football player. It would have taken a wee while to get into the team, but he was getting there. But he grew frustrated with lack of experiences. It's like he wanted to go and play at a dropped out divisions. Now, I think if Stephen would have stuck with it for maybe 6 months, he got there and did well. But he didn't, and that's kind of history. But when you're playing the odd game and you're winning trophies, then people like to hang about. And for me, you need to be able to pay the guys as well, because there's no way the guys at Auchinleck are, and again I use them as an example, they'll be all paid well, they're all decent footballers, but for them to go and get the same money that they're getting elsewhere, they maybe don't get it, so they're quite happy to sit. And that's just the lie of the land until we get to a stage where we're generating enough income to be able to carry a bigger squad. Then we're going to have to just do as well as we can with the squad that we've got.
Okay, I think we've got another question is from Gaz. He's asking, said you're planning for the next 3 years, obviously you've got a contract and obviously time of kind of change, but what sort of success / growth are you hoping for kind of year on year?
Again, it's very difficult to see the immediate plans because we don't know what's going to happen with the league. I really don't know at this point in time. If it's going to be conferences, which it's been mooted that it will be, then our ambition is to win the conference and make sure that we're in the top division for the year. If you win the conference, do you go into a playoff to get into the Lowland League? If we can do that in year 1, brilliant. That's got to be the ambition for the football club. Within a 3-year period, I would be hopeful that we would be in or very close to being in the Lowland League. 5-year period, we should be established as a Lowland League club, and beyond that, we should be looking to get into the Scottish professional leagues.
Okay, so another question we've got here is from Rab McNabb. He's asking, do you feel there's anything more you could do to attract members and attract numbers back to Bus Park, old and new?
Sorry, Ben. What I can do personally?
Yeah, I think that's what he's asking. Yeah, I think he's
team in the park. Success breeds success. People want to be involved with success. So, putting a winning team in the park would certainly do that. I think going hand in hand with that is getting first class facilities. And again, just from my point of view, what the club are doing, the facilities to build the infrastructure that will allow people to come in a nice, comfortable environment is important. Unfortunately, that costs money, and it means that it's coming out of the playing budget. So we can't do everything. We can't put floodlights. We can't put hospitality unit stands in place without, using some income. But ultimately, we're trying to do two things at once: grow the football team on and off the pitch. And if we can do that and strike a balance and still be fairly successful, then we'll be doing well and it'll stand us in good stead. But as I say, once we've got all this done off the park, once we've got our licensing, and there'll be no holding going in Rangers back.
I think that's a great one to end on. You mentioned there about kind of financial support. The other part of this Q&A or live stream, if you like, is to discuss the Bus Foundation, which myself and Jack are involved in. So, Chris, I'll say thanks for your time tonight. I hope you enjoy your lockdown. You're welcome to stay on and sit with us and talk through. But we will now, I think, bring in Jack. Jack's on the line, I think, just now. Hi, Jack. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
Not bad. Good to have you. So, are you sticking your camera on, Jack, for me to see you, or are you just going to go with the audio? What's your plans?
I don't even know how it works, mate. I'm a technical.
Excellent. I think if you press the button on your phone, you can bring your camera and people will see your face. There we go. Have you done the wee haircut here, Jack? Have you done
What's that?
The wee haircut, is that wee?
Aye, mate, this is the lockdown haircut last Saturday. Done it myself. If it was any point before today, I would probably have a hat on just to hide it away there. But I'm quite happy. It's not too bad now.
Chris, would you make a Jack's hair?
An absolute cracker. Are
you going to go for the shaves, Chris? Or you're going to keep your locks going?
Absolutely not. I am. As if I'm just straight out of a concentration camp if I shave my head. No, not at all.
Me, I'm going to be growing this hair and the beard out till it's on the floor, I think, personally. So, Jack, we're here to discuss the Bus Foundation. It's something myself and you have been working on for a few months now, and something we're hoping to kind of release at the end of the season. But obviously, with circumstances just now in the world, that obviously finances is difficult for every club. We're obviously no income with the club, so we've kind of brought the Bus Foundation forward to kind of launch that. So I'll speak a bit about what the foundation is, but do you want to give us just a kind of viewpoint on why we're doing it and what's the reasons behind the Bus Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Like as you say, at the moment it's not the best of times for people with finances and things. We're not bringing this forward as a club to get money into the coffers quicker because we need it or anything like that. That's not the ambition. The idea is that by doing this now, it's just because we've got a bit of time in our hands, so we're able to kind of get some jobs done that we might otherwise have been busy with the football side of things. So the fact that there's no football getting played, you and I both had a little bit more time just to put the effort into this. So the major ambition for the foundation is more of a kind of membership scheme for our fans. Yeah, we want to bring some money in, but there has been existing sort of money ventures in the past. This is just going to bring them all together. One of the things that was happening behind the scenes for the last 2 seasons was Tam had a club running that some of the committee members were paying £10 per week into this club. We called it Tam's Club. It was a really quick and easy way for us to raise money for the football club. Now, you talked about it last week, in the webcast then, and we suggested some of the little things that money was spent on. So it was spent on, equipment for the players. It was spent on washing powder for Brian down at the facilities at the sports club. But ultimately, the money that was raised there, I think we had about 7 people, certainly at one point, and at £10 per week, as you can imagine, the money was quickly growing, and we would foresee that any money raised through the foundation would go towards the infrastructure of the club. So there's no ambition to make that to make money to go and pay players' wages or anything like that. We know that as an ambitious club that we're going to have a lot of off the field financial commitments to make. So these are things that we would like the foundation to grow. One of our visions of the club is that people pass on the message. So they share our story being the success of the club, but certainly the vision of the club as well. And that if we can ask people to become more of a sort of owner of that club or a member of that club, then it might sort of ask them that question a wee bit more. What can they do to share that vision? So that's basically the objective of it, just to get more people involved in the day-to-day kind of fundraising of the club.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's something you see. I mean, other clubs having like supporters trusts and things like that. I guess it's a kind of similar kind of feel to that in terms of it's another way we can bring in money, and that money as well, I think, will be spent in ways that will benefit the fans more than necessarily the players or things like that. It'll be things that will actually go towards what will make the fans experience it. Buffs Park, for example, a much better experience, and that's certainly something we're hoping to do. In terms of, for those who want to know more about the how the Buffs Foundation will work, well, essentially what it'll be is it'll be set up in two kind of tier systems. So you'll have a tier, which we're going to call the standard tier, which you pay in £10 a month to the club. You get a range of benefits. I'll go through both the benefits just shortly. And the second tier is the premium tier, which can be £10 a week. Like Jack mentioned, they had the TAMS Club. Previously, they paid in the £10 a week to TAM. Or you can pay £40 a month into the premium tier. So for your standard benefits, you'll get things like you get a membership card to the club. You get kind of members exclusive competitions. So you might, for example, 1 month get a chance to win a signed jersey or a hospitality package, things like that. We're going to be bringing a new away strip at some point, and the plan is to actually have all the members of the standard tier names sublimated on the back of the jersey. So you maybe seen other teams around the world where anyone who's paid into a kind of fund to support the club, they actually will have the actual name will be put on the back of the jersey. So that's a really cool once in a lifetime opportunity. If you like, you might never get a chance to be on the back of a Buffs jersey ever again. So if you sign up and you've paid in for a year, you'll get that on the season 2021-22 jersey. So for all those who have paid in for 12 months, will get their names in the back of the away jersey for that season. You get a chance to get a Buffs Foundation t-shirt or polo shirt. You can select which one you prefer. There'll be a Buffs Foundation Player of the Year, so you'll have a vote of who you believe the Player of the Year should be, and there'll be a chance to, for example, you'll get a chance to present the award if your name's like drawn out one of the competitions. Certainly, there'll be perhaps some kind of Buffs Foundation events that are exclusively only to members, and it's only one way to get to these kind of events will be via the being a part of the standard tier. You'll also get 10% off at the club shops if you want to buy kind of Buffs polo shirts or jerseys, hats, and things like that. You'll get 10% off at the club shop. You also, for your £10 a month, get entry to all home matches as well. So essentially, it's kind of a bit like having a season ticket in some respects, and you'll be able to come to all the matches. Your membership card will give you that, but you also obviously get votes and things like to do with the actual club as well. There'll be different things where the committee might have to put things to votes, and by being a member of the standard tier, you'll get that opportunity to vote on things like that. And the premium tier, it's £10 a week or £40 a month. You get all the same benefits as someone who's paying the £10 a month in the standard tier, but you'll also get access to what we're going to call the Legacy Club. So that's like a new club in the new clubhouse, which will be exclusive to all those people who are paying into the premium tier of the Buffs Foundation. Again, you'll have your entry to all the home matches. We're going to have a wall in the Legacy Club, which is almost pay homage to all the people that are paying into the £40 a month tier, the premium tier. You'll have kind of special end of season hospitality event as well. So probably one of the last games of the season where you'll be able to come along, experience the hospitality as part of the Buffs Foundation. The Buffs Foundation will also sponsor one of our players, so they'll have one of the players, and you'll get to vote on one of the players that you can the whole foundation. It won't be a sponsor for just one person per player. It will just be the whole foundation will see. So you'll see likes of in the programme, you'll see Buffs Foundation alongside the the player's name, if the player, obviously I do all the match day announcements of the games. When the player's read out at in the starting lineup, you'll hear Bus Foundation. If he scores a goal, again, the sponsor's name will be brought up there. And again, as I say, there's quite a lot you can do then in that respect to pay in. If you do want to join either of those tiers, basically I'll be putting all the information out on social media after this tonight, which will have a form you can fill out and let us know, and then we'll be in touch to set up the payment for the Bus Foundation. Jack, is there anything you think I've missed so far? Or certainly anything you want to get across? If you get any questions about the Bus Foundation, drop them in the comments on YouTube or on Facebook. Quite happy to take the comments and questions there.
No, I mean, the expectations for ourselves as a club is that the vast majority of our fans would probably look at the £10 per month as being something that's affordable. It would certainly be an absolute massive benefit to the club, both financially and a little bit of administratively as well, because it maybe stop us or help us at the end of the season or the beginning of the season getting in contact with the existing members, whether or not to announce AGMs and renew our season tickets, that sort of thing. So we've got all the contact details captured through the foundation. It's much easier for us to drop a group text or an email or send a letter out to everybody and keep in contact with them that way. Now, the second tier, as you say, the sort of legacy club tier, for us, that's more for the fan that certainly, first of all, can afford it. £10 a week's a great financial commitment, and we do appreciate that. But we probably already have 10 people that are willing to do that. So we need to build on that. We need to allow people that maybe do have a bit of extra money in their pocket the opportunity to put it into the club. Sometimes it might be that they'll only put the money in the club when we give them an opportunity. So it might be buying a replica strip or buying a bottle of beer at the game or a pie at the pie stall. But other people might have enough money in their pocket that they think, you know what, I would quite like to get involved in that little bit more of a bit closer to the team by getting involved with the Legacy Club. Now, as people know that we've got a project happening down at the club at the minute with the new building that's been placed there. It's obviously now secure and watertight, and hopefully in the next few months you'll see some progress as soon as we can get back working on it. Now, at that point, we're going to invest some of the initial money into building just a nice little lounge sort of access, maybe for 20 to 30 people that, you're guaranteed your seat because you're a Legacy Club member. You don't need to go in and, squeeze by other people if it's a busy game. We're going to give you, a free drink at every game, whether that's an alcoholic drink or a soft drink or whatever, and just a comfortable surrounding for people to be. Chris mentioned earlier, we as a club want to be a place that is comfortable for every fan, so every fan to come, and, that might be the grassroots fans that we've had for many years, but we've also picked up in recent times some sort of more affluent fans, like we're investors that are coming along just now, and it'd be nice to repay them. There's also been guys that have put so much effort and commitment into the club, especially with the works that we're doing today, and certainly in the past. Chris mentioned Mr. McCluckie and things that, these guys can be rewarded with a membership for the Legacy Club, and they've already done their part for the club. So it's going to be just a nice little kind of lounge that will be part of the new structure down there. And I think that's the biggest benefit to that over certainly the standard membership.
That's another thing, a point we want to make sure everyone's aware of. I think obviously just now the current climate is difficult. We understand that people might not be able to afford £10 a month just now, or the £40 a month just now. This scheme will never close. It'll never be a scheme that will shut down or have no access to. So if you can't afford it now, that's absolutely fine. If in a few months' time and football's back up and running and everyone start back in at work, hopefully, that's all I guess we all hope for right now. You can join at any point. There's no kind of start point or end point for membership. As soon as you want to join, just get in touch with us. It'll be open all year round.
Yeah, just one addition to that, Ben. In the past, around a year ago, the club was fortunate enough to have a lottery running for many years that was administered by Peter McNeely, and it was a great fundraiser for the club. It was absolutely fantastic. But obviously, when the club moved, when the club moved from Abbey Park down to the bus park at the minute, there was a little bit of animosity towards Peter because he was collecting money on behalf of the club, and it really wasn't fair on him. We felt as a club that we should take that burden off him, and we stopped the lottery. Now, we've actually been lucky enough that there's a number of our sort of supporters and members, and they continue to pay a little bit of money, whether it's £5 a month or £10 a month towards the club. We've been trying to think of how we can, maybe restart something back up. But certainly for me, this is the first. This is the first part of that. Might be that there's a lottery or something like that that'll maybe kind of come later. But certainly for you and I, this is going to be our sort of drive and ambition for the club. The foundation gives people more opportunity to get closer to the manager, the team, the committee, and things that are going on at the club. So certainly this, at the moment, will be a replacement for the old lottery. And if anyone has been continuing to pay that lottery, we will honour you with your sort of foundation membership.
Chris has returned. Evening, Chris. So certainly it's something that we've been working on for a few months. It's something we're keen to get out there. So I've seen already seen a few comments in the chat and things saying that people are wanting to join. So that's great to hear that there's fans out there who are keen to get involved. There's certainly comments there saying people want to get involved in the legacy option. So that's even better. We really appreciate any financial support. Obviously, it's going to make a big difference to the club, both on and off the park. So, as Chris was mentioning earlier on, he's just come back in there. It's a good point. He was saying that obviously we're trying to compete against teams with more money than us. That this will give us the opportunity to perhaps do that if we can get a good base of fans and paying.
Hey Ben, just
to
come in and back you up on that. I know for a fact that obviously there's a couple of clubs that do run similar schemes. I think back to Auchinleck. I think they've 600 members that pay £10 a month to their club, and that generates a significant amount of money, obviously, for them over the years. And that type of stuff goes to developing the club, as I say, always there to go to the players who are going to be here today, going tomorrow. Sure, it's for everything else. But if we want to compete in all fronts, we want to grow the club, we want to grow everywhere, then the income that people can provide us is certainly welcome. And to back that up again, I think Darvel have done something recently as well, where they've got about 200 or 300 members that pay into a scheme. It generates money for the clubs. It's as simple as that, and it's a regular source of income. Cash flow at football clubs is something that is very, very difficult to deal with. Jack will tell you better than anybody, but I would say 90% of our income happens over 60. So I think the foundations are wonderful. Even the way we're set up, then it gives you the ability to go and do that, and that's something that we're keen to do.
Give something back as well. I think you can ask for money from fans, but as I say, in the committee who have access to social media, we'll certainly do our best to answer that. And that doesn't look like we'll get any more questions. So all the information will be out tonight.
And putting the actual building the membership package together. Obviously, at these times, we can't make huge football. We can't get down and Mingo and help cut grass, or to make steps forward by, telling the story, telling people about our vision of a club. Making sure we're not standing still, even if it is baby steps that we're taking forward. In these times, we really want to make sure that, if there is someone that that's either a passionate football fan, a general football fan, passive football fan, whatever they may be, or just a that you tell them about the good things that's happening at the club. You find that they would like to find out some more information. So for me, and just kind of making sure that people are aware. Yeah.
That's it. And I think as well, another thing I like to pick up on is we're always looking for volunteers within the football club. There's plenty of things that people can do. You don't have to be a football person per se to actually get involved. I mean, there's work we need to do in a Saturday games, for example. I do a lot of work, obviously, with social media and marketing and things like that isn't my day job by any manner. I mean, so if you've got any expertise there in social media and video and graphics, then reach out to us. We're certainly looking for more on that front as we're trying to build out our kind of media capability. There's plenty we obviously need to do as well about the buildings and the parks if you're into kind of hands-on work, then there's plenty of that as well to do. So, Chris, I'll give you the final word. Do you want to just give a message to the fans and as we sign off tonight?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that strikes me about this whole times, it's strange times, unprecedented times for everyone, is that you can feel that there's a sense of community, there's a sense of social responsibility for everybody now. We've got a wider community, we've got supporters, we've got kids, we've got sponsors, we've got a business world out there, we've got, you know, a real town, and Kilwinning Rangers is at the forefront of that. If we can do anything to support the people in these times, then certainly let us know, because again, we want to be at the forefront of the community. We want to help everybody out, but it just shows you that the willingness just now. You can see it with the drivers towards people trying to help the NHS and trying to help the care homes and such like all round about. This is a time when you realise that it's great to be part of a local community, somebody that's got social responsibility. So for us, we want to be, as I say, at the forefront of that, and we want to try and help as much as we can. So if there's anything we can do as a club, anything we can do other than the football side of things, then we're willing and able to help as best we can.
Great, that's a great message to end in. If you've enjoyed the YouTube live tonight, leave your comments. We'll plan to do this ideally every week, if we can, through the whole lockdown. Just give you something to perhaps enjoy for an hour or so on a Tuesday night. But thanks, Jack. Thanks, Chris. We'll speak to you all soon.